I am Dr. Veena, Associate Professor in Department of Pedodontics in Siddhartha Dental College. Today I am talking on caries vaccine. Dental caries is one of the most widespread disease of mankind. It is epidemic and it's considered to be a major public health problem. There are 7 distinct species of Streptococcus mutans and it is been identified till now which cause dental caries in both humans and animals. That is Streptococcus crisitus, ferrus, macaque, rattus, downy, mutans and sobrinus. Mutants and sobrinus exclusively isolated from human beings. Considerable caries reduction could be attained if colonization of mutant streptococci could be prevented or reduced at the time of eruption of both deciduous and permanent teeth. A successful vaccination directed against mutant streptococci could be a valuable adjunct to other caries preventive measures. So, vaccination can also be a supplement to antimicrobial treatment in individuals with high levels of mutant streptococci. Vaccination against dental caries could be of great value as a preventive adjunct in some societies and as a major public health measures in others. There are 2 types of immune response. One is primary immune response and secondary immune response. Primary immune response, in which the antigen, when it is introduced in the body, there would be around 3 to 5 days of latent period before antibody appears. First antibody to appear is IgM, which is around 2 to 3 days, and next to appear is IgG type, which elevates in 7 to 10 days. So, an important outcome for in primary immune response is memory T and B lymphocytes. So, the secondary immune response, in which we give as a boost dose, it also involves the production of IgG and IgM antibodies, and a collaboration between T cells and B cells will be there to initiate a secondary response. So, immune responses and immunological memories are the basis of vaccination and revaccination, and that is taken as adjunct in caries vaccination. In mechanism of caries vaccine, saliva which contains around 1 to 3% of immunoglobulin concentration mainly contains IgA antibody. It also contains humoral IgG and IgM from GCF. So, in secretory IgA, the major function of secretory IgA is it reduces acid production by mutant streptococci and also it prevents formation of glucosyl transferase enzyme and it inhibits colonization of organisms. So, and it has some effective molecular targets in which the dental caries vaccine can be immunomodulated. Microorganisms can be cleared from oral cavity by antibody mediated aggregation, blocking colonization and inactivation of glucosyl transferase enzyme. Some of the target sites of caries vaccines can be adhesins, GTF, that is glucosyl transferase enzyme, glucon binding proteins. There are various routes of administration for caries vaccine. Mucosal application of dental caries vaccine is generally preferred for induction of secretory Ig antibody in the salivary compartment. So, since this immunoglobulin constitute the major immune component of major and minor salivary gland secretions. So, mucosal administration is considered first, but various other routes have also been tried like oral routes, intranasal route, tonsillar route, minor salivary glands and even the rectal route. In oral route, mainly they are focused on gut associated lymphoid tissue and protective salivary IgA antibodies. An antigen is applied directly by oral feeding or through gastric intubation or in vaccine containing capsules like liposomes. The oral route was not ideal for reasons like because it may have a detrimental effect of stomach acidity on antigen inductive sites and they were relatively distant and does not induce significant secretory IgA antibodies. The rise in secretory antibody produced in small and short duration even after secondary immunization. In intranasal route, these attempts have been made due to close proximity to the oral cavity. Intranasal installation of the antigen, the nasal associated lymphoid tissue, has been used to induce immunity with mutant streptococcal colonization and accumulation. The tonsillar application of antigen created a good antimicrobial response with the help of IgG antibody. The palatine tonsils and especially the nasopharyngeal tonsils have been suggested to contribute precursor cells to mucosal effector sites such as salivary glands. In minor salivary glands, mainly it is seen in lips, cheeks and soft palate. These glands have been suggested as potential routes for mucosal induction of salivary immune responses. The rectal route also been tried with non-oral bacterial antigens, as it may result in appearance of secretory IgA in salivary sites. So, you can also involve active gingival salivary routes in order to limit the potential side effects and also to localize the immune responses. GCF has been used as a route of administration, like injecting lysozyme into gingiva, brushing live mutants onto gingiva, and also using smaller molecular weight antigens. Other passive routes are also been activated for anti-caries vaccine, as an anti-caries vaccine, like supplementation of antibodies. The major disadvantage is you have to go on repeated applications, and also the immunity will be temporary. So, other passive routes used are monoclonal antibodies, bovine milk and whey, hen egg yolk, transgenic plant, like you can genetically modify any tobacco plant, and the vaccine can be generated, which is colorless, tasteless, and can be painted rather onto the teeth, and it also can be injected directly. The advantages of using a passive route is a genetic material can be easily exchanged. It is possible to manipulate the antibody structures, and a large scale production is possible, quite economical. There are adjuvant delivery systems that can be used, like synthetic peptides, coupling with cholera toxin subunits, fusing with virulent strains of Salmonella, and you can also use microcapsules and microparticles, liposomes, bilayered phospholipids membranes, vesicle manufacture to contain and deliver drug antigens. There are various types of vaccines available: the subunit vaccines, recombinant vaccines, and conjugate vaccines. Subunit vaccines contain structural elements of either adenosines or glucosyl transferase enzyme. Recombinant contains targeting vaccine to appropriate lymphoid tissue for mucosal responses. Conjugate vaccines is another group where vaccine approach which intercept more than one aspects of mutant streptococcal molecular pathogenesis by chemical conjugation functionally associated peptide components with bacterial polysaccharides. So, what is the risk of using a caries vaccine? Because of the potential streptococcal whole cell to induce an heart reactive antibodies, there is a serious sera of patients. They can cross verify and go with rheumatic fever, show serological cross reactivity between heart tissue antigens and certain antigens from hemolytic streptococci. So, problems in development of caries vaccine is the identification of virulence antigens of Streptococcus mutans, lack of complete understanding of the mechanism of immune protection, possibility of immunopathological complications, and approval to test candidate vaccine in young population. So, in conclusion, both passive and active immunization approaches have demonstrated success in animal models and even human clinical trials. The efficacy of active immunization with subunit vaccines of mutant streptococci has been proved to prevent dental caries in animal models. However, there are very few studies on efficacy in humans. The primary target of such vaccine would be young children, which is who is at high caries risk. Risk-free and more effective approach has to be done, and it has to be developed. Recent advances in research on mucosal vaccine will lead to a safe and effective vaccine. Local passive immunization with monoclonal antibody specific for mutant streptococci has been received recent attention. These immunological approaches for preventing dental caries should be applicable to control various mucosal diseases. That concludes my presentation. Thank you.